What is up guys, Fi here, and today we're going to be looking at the top 5 supports for solo queue, but with a bit of a twist. Now I wanted to try a new format out for these videos that kind of focuses on the general playstyle as well as the champions. I guess I really want you to watch this video, see who the top 5 are, why they're there, and then also how you can actually take those champions and actually win with them. Now I kind of already do this for each specific champion, but this time I'm going to run over the top 5 and then I'm going to talk about the general playstyle that they fit into afterwards. Make sure you let me know which format you prefer. At the end of the day I do make videos for you guys, so I'm going to show you stuff and then you just tell me what you prefer. So starting off this list is going to be Thresh. Now remember that this list is for the entire of solo queue, so every league, every division, and if you're already in Diamond then this guy would probably be placed a little higher, but for general solo queue he sits around here. Now Thresh has been nerfed a lot, but as I always say, it's his kit that really makes him strong. So he has a hook, a knockback, an AoE slow, a shield, and the lantern, which means he can engage, peel, zone, save people, and he just has so much utility that he's always going to be in the meta somewhere. He's probably the #1 playmaking support just because of his ability to start fights and constantly catch people. Now if you're a good Thresh and you do well in lane, then you can easily take over a game by warding and getting picks for your team. Obviously the other side is his protection, and he's really good at that too. He can flay people away, he can hook them and use his box all to protect a carry, so he makes a very good all-round pick, and I think it's rare that he'd ever be a bad choice. Now one of the reasons why he's not higher on this list is because of the recent ultimate nerf, where people can now only take damage from one wall instead of multiple, and this actually hurts his 2v2 fighting pretty hard. Next up at number 4 is going to be Zyra. I actually wanted to put her higher on this list, but it's really tough because she can work really well, but she can also fail miserably, so she's a pretty risky pick. Now Zyra is probably the best carry support there is right now, especially at lower elos, because she does a ton of damage in lane, almost to the point of being able to 1v2, and that damage stays there in team fights as well. Now you'll notice on this list that every single support is strong in lane, and that's just because if you can make your AD carry strong, then you stand a better chance of winning the game. Now Zyra isn't any different. She can bully extremely well, and if you hit your root, then the enemy is almost always going to have to use a summoner spell or they're just going to die. Now it's not just her damage, she has her plants, her root, the knock up on her ultimate, so she has a decent amount of crowd control to go alongside it. So in teamfights, she is a monster. Assassins and dive comps are very popular right now, and all she has to do is ultimate where they're diving, and all of a sudden they're pretty screwed, and it gives your team time to react and actually kill them. Now building damage on a support is not always the best idea, but if you win your lane, then you'll be doing close to the same damage as one of your laners, and that's a great way of carrying a team if someone there isn't doing very well. Taking the 3rd spot on this list is going to be Nami, and she is a great playmaker and a really good babysitter. In solo queue, you're going to be playing with some pretty bad ADs. If you're Diamond 1 and you've played with me, then you've probably seen me feed quite a few times, but Nami really stops that. Now her wave and bubble are really good peel tools if your AD gets caught, and just in general trading you can heal constantly and let your AD at least farm if they're on the back foot. Now this is why I think she is one of the best. Her kit is really good defensively with her speed ups, her heals and CC, but it's also really good when you turn it around offensively. Now that same CC, her E, the heal, they're all really good when you're picking a fight. She's actually a very good lane bully early if your AD is aggressive as well. Now that's also just her lane phase. In teamfights she can come up really clutch with bubbles, she can engage or disengage with her ultimate, and she can always have an impact. The one thing I will say, and the reason she isn't number 2, is because she isn't necessarily the best for lower elo, because she's not very aggressive. Like, you probably won't make the game changing pick, but you will definitely be keeping your team alive, and sometimes that's just not enough. Now the runner up on this list is going to be Morgana. It's weird because Morgana is a pain in the ass to play against. Like, I often ban her, but I don't actually think she carries as hard as the one above her. Now the main reason she is so annoying is because of her bind, honestly. That thing lasts forever, and if you get hit by it, then the enemy team have so long to react and punish you. It's not even just that, like that is annoying anyway, don't get me wrong, but her black shield is also really annoying to play against because it makes it very hard to gank the lane or shut that person down that it's on in a team fight. Now in lane, if you get hit by that binding, it does a lot of damage anyway, plus the soil on top, and then the follow up from her AD, and at level 6 you can easily get 100 to 0 from one combo. Now her Q is probably the best pick tool that any support has because it just lasts so long and it's on such a short cooldown that you can constantly fire it out mid game and eventually you are going to hit it. The reason I haven't put her higher, the reason she's not number 1, is because she's been nerfed a few times, and now if your team is behind, then Morgana doesn't really offer much apart from that black shield. Her ultimate and bind are okay peel, but they aren't comparable to other supports, so in my mind it's kind of hard to create a comeback on her on your own. Now on the other hand though, she is above the rest because her CC and shield are crazy, and if she does get ahead in lane then she can build damage as well and actually do really well. So at number 1 we have Alistair, and I don't honestly think there is any other support who can do what he does as well as him. He is a king of disruption. He can either zone an enemy out of the fight or he can protect one of his own carries insanely well. His pulverize stops a group of people in their tracks and his headbutt completely removes someone from the fight. Now these are more noticeable in teamfights, but they still apply in the lane phase as well. The fact that he has a heal and pretty good base damage on his combo mean that he's actually a lane bully in my mind. Even if he might not win the trade hugely, he can heal back up and then do it all over again, and after level 6 he's pretty impossible to actually kill. I'm going to talk about playstyle in a second, but he is the prime example of a roaming support and he can have an impact in a ton of different lanes without really any risk. The other reason why he's so good is because he fits with the whole meta right now. He can dive buddy with another tank or assassin, he can protect a hyper carry AD or a non-mobile mid laner, and that's just honestly perfect right now. So that's the top 5, and now I'm going to go over the playstyles really quickly that win you games. Now there are two groups of supports, so there's carry and playmaking. Now carry supports are champs like Annie or Zyra who are killing stuff themselves, whereas playmaking supports are more about helping your team to get kills. Both of them do still make plays, let's just make that clear, but they play differently. Now playmaking supports are your Thresh, your Nami, Alistair and Morgana to some extent as well, and they focus on setting up plays. Now these guys are the ones that you really want to ward in the enemy jungle or your jungle if you're behind and get picks with your crowd control. So warding is one way to carry and another is roaming. Mobility boots are actually really good on all of these because if you just leave bot lane then you can get to mid really quickly, and because you're a playmaker and you have so much CC, you'll be able to gank mid lane and get something from it. Your focus when playing these champions is to basically feed your team. You ward so you can pick people mid game and roam early so you can snowball your other lanes. It's really important when team fighting to realize if you need to engage and dive in or sit back and peel. All of these champions are good at both really, so it's up to you to figure it out in the game. Things to look out for are like if my carry is fed or is the enemy carry fed? Do I need to zone the enemy or protect my team? How easy is my carry to kill? And ultimately, if I keep my carry alive, do we win the fight? The other playstyle is the carry, and Morgana can fit into here as well, but it's more for people like Zyra or Annie. Now this is more focused on you actually killing people, or at least dealing a lot of damage, rather than setting your team up to do the damage. Now because you're building damage and squishy, it's way more risky to roam between lanes as the jungler or enemy mid could easily kill you, so it's better to just dominate your lane and try to get kills on them whenever possible. Just because you're building damage as well doesn't mean you can stop warding. Often it's actually good to ward because you can then catch the enemy with your damage unaware, like over a wall, which is really good poke before a fight. You're still trying to create picks here obviously, but you're not really focused on peeling as much as you are focused on dealing as much damage as possible, kind of like a laner. The reason Zyra is so good is because you can actually do both. You can kind of protect your carry with your ultimate while doing a lot of damage as well. So those are the two main playstyles that win you games in solo queue, and hopefully you can see why these top 5 fit into that so well. Just to mention very quickly, there are a bunch of other supports that are good right now like Blitzcrank, Leona, Braum and Janna, but they're either pretty risky like Blitz or Leona, or they don't just really carry that hard. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to let me know if you enjoyed this format by commenting or liking the video, and I'll catch you next time.